Hello televiewers, and thanks for
can be answered without referring to elections. If politics is about making decisions and implementing them, elections are the first decision. They determine who entrusts in whom the power of making those decisions through an institutionalized procedure and for a given period of time. This is a quotation from a write-up from a book written by Boris Makarenko, a Russian, and published in 2015 by the Cambridge University Press. It is talking about the importance, the role of elections in a democracy. Now we are going to ask certain questions in Cameroon on this program about elections in Cameroon. We know that elections are pending in 2025 between municipal and legislative elections and then the presidential election. Now we have very little talk about the legislative and the municipal elections that are supposed to come up earlier. The focus is more on the presidential. We are asking why the stakeholders are silent. That is our focus on Press Hour today. And as guest, we have Njini Elvis Barnet, who is the National Communications Secretary of the Population Action Party. People Action Party. Is that Popular
Action Party?
Popular Action Party.
Exactly.
Yes. Elvis, you're welcome.
Thank you, Gillian, for inviting me here today. I must say it's a pleasure being once again on your platform. A special good afternoon to all viewers of my CRTV and to my co-panelists. It's a pleasure being here.
The pleasure is ours. Elvis, you're welcome. We have Calvin Ta Ndango, ex-choir, National Legal Advisor of the SDF. And the SDF just had their convention in the end of October. That was October 29, I think. So my memory is not
October
failing.
20, yeah.
Yes,
20,
you're welcome.
28.
You're going to tell us what your party is doing. Elections are coming, and we know exactly that the SDF is no longer what it used to be in this country in terms of leading the opposition. You're welcome. We welcome you first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Special greetings to our viewers.
Now we have a potential candidate for the pending elections, municipal and legislative elections, always twin election in Cameroon. For now, Mr. Gwe Philip Chia, you are the mayor of Fonfuka. We are glad to have brought you to Yaoundé for this. You're welcome. Are you very strong and ready for elections?
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate my coming here and thank my viewers and my militants who will be watching at us here. Thank you for inviting me. I think that I'm up to the task and we are ready to go to the field of play.
How is Fonfuka? You know, it's in the. You should tell us where Fonfuka is.
Fonfuka is in Boyo Division, Northwest region, and Fonfuka is one of the enclave subdivisions that, in fact, living from Fonfuka to Fundong, the divisional headquarters, you have to go through Kambe, Bui, Ngokutunja, Bamenda, and back to Fundong because of the barrels. But however, the people are still happy to be in the ruling party because they know that one day the sun is going to shine.
Do you know that you are shooting your leg yourself? Because when you say you have been mayor there for quite a while, I think it's still in Cliff. Don't you answer this question subsequently?
Yes. Okay.
Now we're going to introduce the regular, the I've always present. I didn't want to say omni because it is given to God. Yes, Professor Elvis Ngole is a member of the Central Committee of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM. You are also a political scientist, so you're going to evaluate things today, analyze things from different perspectives. We're always happy, always glad to have you on Press Asset.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to share this very prestigious platform with very eminent personalities and fellow Cameroonians and comrades that constitute this panel. I know we come from different political parties, but as you are aware, and as you know, we're always together with others. We don't feel ill at ease with the others. You know, Mr. Ndango is here. I congratulate the SDF for a very successful convention they had the other day. Of course, my namesake, Mr. Njine, we've always been on other platforms, and now the Mayor Gwe, I congratulate you and I encourage you. I think that as Cameroonians, we should all look forward to participating and contributing our own little quota. We may make errors, we may once in a while disagree, but we are together as fellow Cameroonians to build this house called Cameroon.
Is that not a very easy speech to say when you are ruling? If you were in the opposition, will you not fire the way they do?
No, we will be anxious, but as Democrats, if we would know how to comport ourselves. But now that we are not used to being in the opposition, and we don't intend to be in the opposition. But we understand those who are in the opposition. We understand that they are fellow Cameroonians, they are fellow Democrats, and we are all building the same house. We want a better Cameroon. And at the end of the day, we support each other. As you know, the other day you saw that the Secretary General of the CPDM was at the convention of the SDF. I was very happy about that. There were other political party leaders who were there.
Okay.
That's the way to go.
Thank you.
Together we are moving in the same direction.
Thank you. That was just a teaser. You can be sure that you will have other questions. We're going to watch the press review, and this week is done for us by Faith Ngwang. Faith Ngwang read the papers.
Hello televiewers, and thanks for watching the press review on Press Hour. We open the papers with a celebration from the African Synergy. According to Cameroon Tribune, the motivation of the organization is unshakable 21 years after. The paper further says the president and founder of the non-governmental organization, Mrs. Chantal Biya, has pledged to continue advocating for a more inclusive world. Frank Biya breaks silence, the Horizon captions, adding that initiators of the Frankist movement must be frustrated after the president's son declared his membership of the ruling party and rejected the post of honorary president proposed him by a group of fanatics. More of the info in page 3 of the Horizon newspaper. The National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune throws back at the Mamfe massacre as it tells us that the upper and lower houses of parliament condemned the act during the opening of their ordinary session. In the same vein, the Median adds that Manu elements worldwide have condemned the primitive barbaric atrocity in a joint statement issued by Manu's socio-political and business elite at home and abroad. The Horizon tells us that the leader of the Ambazonia interim government, Ayuk Tabe, said there is no justification for what happened in Egbeko and called for a moment of reckoning. Coup to unseat Kavai's director of cabinet flops and heads may roll. The Guardian Post in its report expatiates that investigations to unmask authors of the fake decision sacking Bukar Abdurrahim and those who took the same to CRTV for broadcast are ongoing. Cameroon's parliament is bereaved as CPDM's MP dies on the eve of parliamentary session. The Horizon reports also announcing the demise of the Meme coordinator of the CPP. Fête de fin d'année en toute sécurité. Cameroon Tribune carries the voice of the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense during a security meeting in Yaoundé. The paper further opens that Joseph Betty Assomo has reassured that security will be top-notch during the end-of-year festivities. In the Southwest region, Municipal Update reveals that the University of Buea unveils Kate Kanye's 50 million CFA France Excellence Fund as the horizon in a further development tells us that over 1,000 students benefited from the fund. This as students challenge Vice Chancellor over age discrimination for presidential awards. Chief Balungeli Confiance Ebune has been honored by his peers recently. This Municipal Updates reports as it captions London Chief Balungeli Ebune gets fresh grassroots support. In a related development, the Horizon reports that Professor Victor Mbarika has been crowned Pillar of Society by Metafunds. Adopting new mining code will revolutionize sector. Municipal Updates headlines as it says Mayor Mesoso of the Tiko municipality has consulted population on 2024 priorities. The English daily The Guardian posts headlines on the JICAM-ECAM merger that has suffered setbacks afresh. According to the paper, imbroglio plaguing the push to merge the Cameroon Employers Association with the Entreprise du Cameroun ECAM has taken another twist. Meanwhile, the CDC banana sector is gathering steam as expert figures speak volumes. So says the Median. That was it for the press review this Sunday. Stay tuned to Press Hour and see you next time, God willing.
Thank you very much, Faith. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in, this is Press Hour and we are broadcasting live from the CRTV Production Center at Mbalatu in Yaoundé. Our topic is municipal legislatives. Why are stakeholders silent? When we put it in general, as we put it, the majority of the stakeholders are silent. But for a few political parties, we don't see any of them except for CPDM, maybe the Cameroon People's National Reconciliation Party, the SDF, the UNDP for certain. Most of them, we don't see them, we don't hear them yet. Elections. We're even talking about the civil society. We're talking about the Cameroonian, simple Cameroonian. We don't seem to be concerned as such. Whereas we said earlier, very few questions can be answered about democracy without referring to election. So, what is the problem? That is the question we are asking. We're going to start with Barrister Calvin Ndango, who is the National Legal Advisor of the SDF. What about the SDF after the convention? We've not heard anything about you.
Oh yes, thank you very much. We had a successful convention, just as Prof just said. We had a wonderful convention. Our only fear is that the party in power should not be afraid of what happened during the convention to postpone elections, because the convention was just to conclude a reorganization process that has started all over the national territory, right from the wards to the districts to the divisional coordination, the regions, and now we had to choose a new National Executive Committee. I think the SDF has not been silent. The SDF has been with the people, working very hard, and I think that we are looking for the elections that are coming up in 2025. Early February.
That bullet that you shot at the CPDM could backfire, because how many councils do you have? How many members of parliament?
We cannot talk about that now, because we know exactly what happened. That we are ready to unseat all these mayors that were put in place by the military in the northwest and southwest, because the population did not go out to vote. We know the parliamentarian from my constituency went there with 102 votes. The military did the trick, and this time around the people are poised.
The military did not vote.
Well, the military voted. Maybe you don't know.
military didn't vote.
The military voted in those constituencies.
If any military voted, is because the military man.
The military is supposed to vote. That's why I'm saying the military is supposed to vote, and they voted. I'm not saying they violated the law.
That's right.
They voted, but they were the only people that voted in those constituencies because the population did not come out.
You have
to
one
vote.
council in the northwest, so the military also voted for that council.
Well,
in favor of the SDF.
we can only have.
Can we say that?
We can only have a council where it was very secure for the people to vote.
You see, when you are declaring we are watching you, Prof,
Yes.
just briefly, 1 minute, I will come
Yes.
back to you. He shot a bullet that you should be afraid that they are coming up to
Very
overturn.
powerfully.
No, we are quite
I
comfortable
know
with
they are accommodative.
our friends of the SDF. I think that the SDF has done a lot since the 1990s to contribute to our democracy, and I think as a party, the CPDM is quite at ease with the SDF, and we know that even though they're adversaries, we know each other well enough, and I think we know how to work with each other well enough that we have no fears. We think that at the end of the day, they are good competitors, good rivals, and obviously we too are good rivals to them. At the end of the day, the people will speak. The people will vote, and when the vote is counted, we remain friends and rivals.
Maybe he's right because they are very aggressive towards that the CPDM is making. It's like, hey, they are saying there's a non coming up. Can we conclude like that?
Yeah, but as you know, elections are organized by the state. ELECAM is an instrument structure, it's a state structure, and the law gives the powers to the state to organize elections. And so the state, ELECAM is a state instrument. It's independent, but it's a creation of the state of Cameroon, and according to the law. And so once the state has decided, naturally all of us who are political parties, we are simply private associations, organizations. We learn. Once the state has decided, and we respect the state decision, and we organize ourselves and our militants in order to participate in the process. And at the end of the day, the people will have to vote. The votes will be counted, and whatever results come out. We respect those results.
Yes,
because we respect the state and we respect the laws.
Elvis, Engineer Elvis Bane, who is the National Communication Secretary of the Popular Action Party.
Yes.
Do you think that many people will identify national, that is Popular Action Party? Where is the party sleeping now? Because we don't hear anything.
Well, when you say you don't hear anything, maybe you as an individual, and probably because you've not been following the Popular Action Party.
Or maybe because the Popular Action Party has not taken it to the popular places where the other parties are taken, so that I can know.
So where are the other parties taking it to? I want to tell you that the PAP has been active on the ground, be it here, in fact, I would say nationally. We have been active on the ground, and contrary to what you say that the political stakeholders are sleeping, I don't think that the PAP is sleeping, because it's all about strategy. Every political party has its own strategy they put in place to be able to go about, should I say, canvassing support for their own party. And worse still, you understand how hostile our political terrain is in Cameroon. When I say hostile, what I want to say is that my namesake Prof will agree with me that in most cases, other political parties, those of the opposition, they need to seek authorizations to be able to manifest, to carry out their activities. But it's rather unfortunate that
the CPDM does before they start any
let me land so you understand where I'm driving to.
Go ahead.
The CPDM does, but the difference between the CPDM and the PAP is that when we of the PAP, when we ask for one or any other opposition party, you see, the idea is you are seeking an authorization from someone who is already acting in favor of the CPDM. So it becomes difficult for them to grant you that authorization, because it's like arming an opponent to come back to fight. And maybe that's the way they look at it. That is to tell you that we devise other strategies.
I can't refuse that it is difficult. I think that it is difficult, as you say. Don't you think that it is the fear that's difficult that makes you not come up and apply? for
No.
public manifestations?
Contrary to that, if you are talking about fear here, the CPDM therefore should rather be the ones who are afraid of the ones who are coming up. You see, it's not us being afraid, because despite the fact that they will not want to give room for others to go out and manifest and carry out activities freely like they're supposed to do, we are rather devising other strategies therefore to continue carrying out our activities.
Yeah,
you see,
I will give you time to talk about that. Now,
Exact-
let us finish with this fear of refusing to give you authorization.
yes.
Give us examples of authorizations you have requested
And they have
this year
refused.
and have refused. No, we are very, very transparent here.
Good.
Your
It's
party.
not about requesting this year.
No, you request first. You request.
No.
They refuse, and then you come and tell us here that it has been
Mr.
all-
Killian,
Yes.
Mr. Killian, I think when you ask questions, you should let me talk.
Yes, go
It is
ahead.
not about requesting this year. It is about knowing the system. It is about experience on the field. We've seen so many other situations where, like I say, it is not about the PAP only. Political parties do go for it. They will never. Why? Because the first excuse they give you is that you want to create an uprising. They will tell you that the environment is not conducive because of this, because of, they always have their reasons to give. And that's why I say, because of that, we of the PAP, we have rather devised other strategies where we go to the grassroots and we try to meet with our people, with our potential electorate. We talk with them one-on-one without necessarily having to waste that time to go towards them, because the excuses are always abound. That is what I'm saying.
I'm listening. You say I should give you time. We are listening. Not that we
Good.
stop you.
So what I'm saying here is that when we talk about fear, it is not fear coming from the opposition. It's not fear coming from the PAP, because it's about should I say the boldness and the courage. And maybe I will shock you here to tell you that in Cameroon today there is no political party as bold as those of us of the PAP. I think, like I earlier mentioned here, bold in going out to meet the people, bold in maybe challenging our main opponent, which is the CPDM in place. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I said
I can't say no to your declaration, but we want to see
SDF
you in
was
the public
bolder
place.
in
That's part of the boldness.
No, public place here, Mr. Clay, I will still want to tell you. Remember, first of all, when we talk about elections in Cameroon, you mentioned something. We have the presidential, we have the twin elections.
Yeah,
right?
legislative and
Now, the
municipal.
twin elections, let me tell you, if someone comes from Furawa or from Oku or from, I don't know, Mayo Saba or whatever part of the country, and he wants to go out there and work to win maybe a parliamentary seat in that area or a council seat, he must not necessarily come on measure that we are doing here now. You see, those are local elections and we have strategies we go in for. Maybe perhaps you will need to see us nationally on media and using other strategies when it comes to maybe presidential. You see, but when we talk about a local election, we have our strategies, and like I say, we are on the field. And like I earlier mentioned again, maybe it's because you've not been following the PAP. You see,
I follow all political parties.
and it's rather surprising that you've not been hearing and seen the PAP.
Do not forget that the very name of your party is Popular Action Party. Why are you going unpopular?
You think that we are going unpopular? I say we are devising strategy to counter the system that we have ahead of us.
It's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. We have listened to you. I will come back to you, Mr. Gray Philip Chair, who is the mayor of Fonfoka. We already asked you how Fonfoka is doing. You should be a potential candidate to succeed yourself, but you know that it will not be easy because the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement is saying that they have to make sure that there are no rivals, and that if there are rivals, they overcome them. How ready are you in Fonfoka?
Actually, CPDM is a well-organized party. We are working on 24 on 24. We don't just wait for elections to come up and we start running up and down. We work with our militants on daily basis. And the PAP party, as they are saying, it doesn't even exist in my place, so I'm just very comfortable. I don't have me time with that.
They can come and surprise you.
Yeah, if they come, I'll be very happy, because winning election out of many political party contesting, then you become more proud. You stand tall than just going in alone. And so if PAP is coming, I'm ready for them, because I know that my militants are intact. We are mobilizing. We have been living like a party. We are almost like a family.
Very good. Then that's good for you. But you can't go away with that, because you said here earlier that Fonfoka is enclaved. The Ministry of Public Works gives you money. I'm not going to be giving the figures. We know.
Yes.
The Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development gives you money. for some development. Some other ministry, public health is doing, education, I think so. They are doing some other thing. They give to all the councils.
Exactly.
Why is your place still in Cliff? What is the work that you are doing with?
Actually, what the government is doing through this ministry is actually seen on the field, because we, from this time, we are actually struggling to disenclave the area. I was talking about disenclavement in the past, because it was not easy living from Fuka to the divisional headquarters. But now we have 2 possible routes, but they are not in good state. But we are, with the funds from public works for road maintenance, we are doing the maintenance and we are managing. And you know, during this time of crisis, where movement has not been easy, then the roads have degraded. And actually, the work that we used to do very freely, even sometimes mobilize the committee and they come out and prepare the portions around the areas, and then it's not actually effective at this time. So
can you give us some of the stretches of road? Because know that the people back home are following.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. We are actually trying to connect the road from Fonfoka, Sab, Konene, and Fundong.
How far have you gone with it?
We have gone so far because there were 2 main bridges, rivers on that road, River Mbok and the River Nguma. That was a very big hindrance to that community. And thank God that the Minister of Public Works, through Fond Routier, has allocated funds for these 2 bridges, and the work has already started in one of the bridges, and River Mbok works will be starting there in December. And then coming from the funds from Minderville for this 2023, we have constructed 7 bridges, 7 small box culverts along that very road. And we think that if these 2 main bridges go through, we'll be able to connect Fonfuka, South, Konene, Fundong. Which means that I can confidently leave Baminda and pass through the road to Fumka without any problem.
What about electricity and I should say boreholes, water pumps?
Exactly, they exist. We have Fumka Town is electrified. We have solar street lights. We have a solar plant, one in the council and one that is planted in town that is helping people. We have, as the council, we have planted industrial metals that can business people like people who do welding, carpentry, that can work on.
Thank you. Now we are going to get into the crux of these preparations for election, and we start with Barrister Calvin Ta Ndango, and the question we are asking is that we have elections in Cameroon. We think the parties, PAP, so many other parties are waiting for election time. They have their strategy, but we agree, we give them that credit. But we think that they should be visible equally, so we see them. And there are so many of those parties. Don't forget, we had 40 more political parties authorized in Cameroon within the past 2 weeks, coming to add to more than 250, 350. I wanted to talk about 350 political parties. That makes more than 400 political parties. And we have, let me say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 represented in the National Assembly, and we don't have so many represented in the councils. We mean that the parties are waiting for election time. That is our problem today. Municipal and legislative elections are coming up. How prepared are the stakeholders, political parties?
Yes. For the other political parties, just as the PAP is saying, that they have their tactics, they have the way they do theirs. For the SAF, that I will talk more about, we have been on the field, and we are on the field preparing for elections. The business of the political party is elections. So we have been working at all levels preparing for the elections. And we would like that the electoral calendar be respected, because everybody is looking at that calendar. We would not like that the elections for any reason be postponed. And I want to hope that the mayor of Fonfoka is not praying that they should postpone the elections so that he finishes bridges.
No, we don't want
because
it tomorrow.
if he can say that there is peace reigning in Fonfuka, that we know, and that all what is happening in Northwest does not affect them there because they are CPDA militants. Beg to differ with him because we are all facing the difficulties. We are not only going to talk about Northwest and Southwest because
yes, you have raised a very important point.
Election, we are preparing for election all over the national territory.
Barrister Karin, you have touched what we thought we should bring later. We must not miss that out now that you have talked about it. The electoral calendar, where we are. The twin municipal and legislative elections. We are going to talk about that. Okay. We know that presidential election cannot go beyond October 2025. Presidential elections, senatorial elections have time bound, time that is not adjusted.
It's not adjusted.
Not sent forth, may even be brought forward. Anticipated, I think so.
Exactly.
But not sent forward.
Not sent forward.
Let us look at the calendar of the twin municipal and legislative elections without thinking about the extraordinary that they should be postponed. Give us the
thank you very much.
The probability.
The probability. We are calling it twin, but there's nothing in the electoral code that calls some election twin. They have already decided to put it together for convenience reasons.
Yes.
As they are separate elections and they have separate mandates. They might have the same mandate, but all of their mandates do not start at the same time.
We agree.
Okay.
But
now we're looking at the calendar. We are supposed to have elections, council and parliamentary elections ending February, early March 2025. And this calendar is what Cameroonians know. And it's what Cameroonians are hoping that.
Are you talking about what the law says?
That's what the law says.
Yes,
because Cameroonians only look at the law. But since, according to our electoral code, everything rotates around the President of the Republic convening the electorate, which he can decide to do that before or even after, because there are no sanctions for it if he does it after. The electoral calendar is what Cameroonians know. And it's what we are preparing for. It's what we are all praying that it should be respected, because people are planning to take positions in councils and contribute their own quota in the development of this country. So you are saying
the law says the election, municipal, from what we have, and legislative, they have to take place. The polling day is supposed to be 20 days before the
expiry.
Before the expiry of the mandate.
Yes.
Meaning that the head of state has to convene the electorate 90 days before polling day.
So
and 20 days before the expiry of the mandate.
So if I do a rough calculation before you continue, 20 days before expiry, that is in end of March or something like that.
Yes.
So we mean that the elections are supposed to be summoned for early February or end of January 2025. Then the electorate will be summoned by October 2024. By October, we are not getting
it. By October, nothing stops the head of state from convening the electorate earlier enough, even in 2024, so that we do the elections in 2024. I understand that the budget for 2024 is already in Parliament, and I don't know if they've made provision for some of these elections to be brought back, because 2025 is going to be very crowded. And
I'm going to come to Prof. Following the timeline you have given, it means that it was supposed to be budgeted, because if the mandate ends in February or March 2025, then it is automatic that it should have been budgeted in 2024.
For sure.
Yes. Then why are you putting question mark on?
I'm putting question mark because we understand that for some time now, some previous elections, they have used old councillors to vote new senators. We don't want to get into all that, and people are praying that they should prolong the mandate of the current councillors so that they can vote again, so that they can use them again to campaign for the presidential election, which should be out of the law.
So,
which should not be. Which should
please, I'm going to give you ample
within the ambits of the law.
Imagination.
It's an imagination that can work.
This is what Barrister Atta is saying is what we hear around.
Yeah.
That you of the sitting mayors, municipal councillors to globalize, and members of National Assembly who are supposed to take part in this election, and even some appointed officials are saying that the president hardly appoints or allows election before presidential election. Is that what some of you are sitting and waiting without preparing for elections before the presidential election?
No, Mr. Killian, I can't accept that what my brother is just saying. There's just an imagination. There's a timetable for elections in Cameroon. And anything can happen, as he is saying. If the president just brings the election tomorrow, then the team that is ready will not be afraid. Okay. You just need to prepare yourself, mobilize your militants, be yourself. Why carry it to 2026 or 2024? Or why we know that the mandate is expiring in 2025. If the president uses his discretion to bring it back to 2024, provided the resources are there to manage the election, we are ready. If it takes 2026, we are ready. It's not a matter of manipulation or saying that they want to do this because the old councillors and parliamentarians should campaign for president. The president sells himself and he's ready to be voted at any time.
Has underlined here is under normal circumstances, because by postponing, extending the mandate, it's an extraordinary measure. Yes. He is saying that the electoral code makes provision for the municipal and legislative elections coming up to be summoned in 2024, so election takes place early 2025.
Yes.
That is what he is saying.
Yeah.
Yes, and Prof, we are going to come now to you. You've listened to all of this.
Yeah.
That's what the law says. We should follow the law, and then summon the electorate in 2024 towards the end, and then have the election, and it will probably end by March, and then we'll prepare presidential election later in October.
Yes, we all know that the president, in his method, in his style, is a legalist. Everyone knows that he always acts according to what the law provides for, and he never tries to get out of the law, because he's someone who is law sensitive. He's very sensitive to that, and so he will not. The Constitution gives him the power to be the one to convene the electorate. We all agree to that. That's a constitutional prerogative and power. And with those powers, he will always convene the electorate according to what the law provides for. So we don't have to worry about when it will be convened. We know that from the calendar we know what the calendar is, that in 2025 the twin elections are supposed to take place, legislative and municipals, and later on the presidential elections are supposed to take place. Calendar wise, you can work out the mathematics. The president, in convening the electorate, will always take into consideration, one, that calendar, two, what does the law say? And everyone knows that he will always go according to what the law says. Yes. But since he is the one who has the power, as per the Constitution, to convene the electorate, he will do according to what the law permits him to do. And so we as political parties or members of political parties, our job is to prepare, to mobilize, to educate, to put together the candidates who will represent us in the various elections. That's our job as political parties. But as far as the power to decide, the timing, that is the prerogative and the constitutional powers of the president. But we know that he will always, and he has always acted according to the law.
That is where the problem is. That's where the problem is. The head of state, who is the chairman of the CPDM, is the one who decides when to convene the electorate.
According to the law, that's what he says.
It's according to the law. But we are saying that we are talking like this with an independent electoral commission in place. When the head of state, who is the chairman of the CPDM, convinced the electorate, is ELECAM still independent? Can ELECAM postpone elections in this country? Can ELECAM ask that the electoral calendar be respected?
You are a legal mind. You are a legal mind. You do not ask those questions.
We are educating the people. I want the people to understand that.
Let me ask you this question before you continue.
It is a bad law that you put in place an independent electoral body, and then it's a political actor, chairman of the political party, that decides when elections. You want us to be prepared. You want us to mobilize. You want us to educate. We have been doing all that. Do you imagine how people are frustrated when we do all that, and then tomorrow we learn that they have postponed the election because they could not crowd the election in 2025? We are praying that these elections be conducted because the SDF is prepared to boot out all those militarily installed mayors and parliamentarians in Northwest and Southwest and get more councils in other parts of this country because we want to participate.
We should be mindful of the Constitution. We
are mindful of the Constitution.
You see, we may question the actions of the the President of the Republic in his constitutional capacity as President of the Republic and head of state. Now, if one questions the fact that in taking a decision as to the timing, he's doing it according to the law. You are ignoring the fact that it's a constitutional power. That means you are questioning the Constitution itself. And once we political parties begin to question the Constitution because we don't like or we're not comfortable with the decisions of the constitutional leader, the head of state, then we are not playing our role as political parties, because political parties, their job is that they want to be in power. They want to get into certain positions. And the powers that they've got are that as private associations or organizations, they get the candidates, they mobilize their people, they make sure they educate people to go vote. And then when the time comes, the people make the choice. But once we move out of that and we begin to question the constitutional powers and prerogatives of the president, we are moving out of the Constitution does not give us as political parties the powers to do that. It's only when either in a referendum or there is some sort of election where certain laws have to be in question that we can mobilize our militants to vote either way. But when it comes to electing members of parliament, mayors or councillors and so forth, we are limited as members of political parties. You see, we shouldn't forget that there are about now, I think if we follow the latest statistics with the 40 parties that are added,
increasing the number of
we have about 369, 370 political parties. It shows you that the political space is attractive, very attractive to Cameroonians. They enjoy it. That is why they're adding every day. But don't forget that here is our common challenge. The ELECAM has so far registered about, let's say, a little bit over 7 million.
Yes.
And if you go by past election, 2018 and 2020, of these 7 million, there were about 3 million or so that actually voted, meaning that there's a high voter apathy rate, meaning there is a high level of abstentions. We, all of us, no matter what party we belong to, we have a common challenge to make sure that most of these 7 million plus actually go vote, and that we should even add more to the electoral registers, because Cameroon's population of around 30 million could be able to go up to 10, 11, 12 million. But so far, the 7.5 million, when the day of the vote, based on past elections, we see that only about 3 million actually cast their votes.
Now,
meaning
we are struggling.
Thank you very much for the
we have to point out all this. We have to point out all this and point out to the people what we would change if we eventually it is not made to discourage people from voting. I'm galvanizing the people that come out and vote, because these things are in the way they are because you stay in your houses and you don't want to vote. Come out and vote so that we can really make an independent electoral commission in this country that will manage elections.
That is exactly what I wanted you to say. Rather than questioning the law.
I'm not questioning the law. I'm telling the people that
you started by questioning the law.
Political parties
have the right to educate the people on the law and the situation of the law and what we intend to bring in. What are you people fighting to go change in parliament, in council, or in the Senate? What we want to change is what I just pointed out. So come out and let's make the electoral space more appetizing.
But if I could correct you in one thing you have said, which may pose in the minds of our listeners, is you are thinking that the president is taking that decision as a political party leader. He is taking as a president, following the constitution.
Is that what it's supposed to be? Have you followed electoral commissions in other countries?
That is the constitution.
Do you know what happens? Have you followed what happens in other countries that have independent electoral commissions?
Our constitution.
Don't only say that the constitution because it was voted in play by an obvious majority of the citizens.
Let us be clear. Let us be clear,
Barrister Calvinta, let's be clear. The statement that you made, that is according to his whims and caprices, is untrue. Untrue because he has not extended the mandate of the municipal councillors and members.
Had he extended before?
Wait. Let us get things clear.
He has not extended.
He did that before.
Yes.
According to the law. If he extended it by more than 18 months, because it is 6 months plus, I think 12 plus 6, that is what the law says. If he extended by 20 or by 25, then you can say that he has broken.
What if he does not extend and he does not convene the electorate? What is the sanction you will give him?
No, it has not happened.
Because
You cannot depend on an individual that can decide at any moment. Cameroon is functioning today with less than 4 regions functioning normally, and we keep on putting everything on one person, and that it is this person that we believe in him. He's the one. He has the power given to him by the constitution. No matter where the country is going to, it depends on him.
You have to respect the constitution. If you want to make democracy, you must respect the constitution.
Yes, Elvis.
Yes.
In relation to this, we have to respect
The constitution.
Calendar. That is the electoral law, which is the electoral code. We also have to respect the constitution of the state. In general, we have to respect the laws for the electoral calendar.
The laws have to be respected, the calendar has to be respected. But I think there is one thing that maybe most of us here don't want to see reason with, as far as what Barrister Calvin is saying. The problem here is we have Elecam, which is supposed to be an independent body. Is it truly independent? That's the problem. Because if to me Elecam were truly independent, then I want to think that there is a problem with that provision, therefore, because
what makes you think that Elecam is not independent? No. Let us make things clear.
Yeah, why is
Elecam not independent?
To begin with, you will notice that we are in a country where institutions like Elecam that manage elections and that are supposed to be independent and impartial. So most often than not, you discover that the individuals that head these commissions are appointed by one man, who happens to be not just the head of state, but the chairperson of a political party and a key actor with particular interest in that same election. So the question therefore is, if I have to appoint people to manage an electoral system, and I myself I'm a candidate in those same elections, or I have my own key interest in those same elections, how do you think that those persons I have appointed will act against me or work not to my own favor?
That is where the problem knows that
you continue. Don't see. This is what we are saying. This is what we are saying. Do you know the composition in terms of representation of the members of the electoral board and of the administrative arm of Elecam? Is it from one party? Answer that question. Please, let us be very frank.
They are not from one party.
Are you saying now? The second question. The second question. I will allow you to speak. The second question is this. The second question. Please. The second question is this.
Yes.
Are you saying that these people are not people of integrity? That they can just listen to? No. This is another question. Because that's one of the qualities.
That says they are people of integrity. Most of them. Why are you saying that they are people of integrity?
Mr. Kiga,
how do you judge their integrity?
That is where the problem lies. They may not belong to the same political party. But what we are saying is that we know how these people have been appointed in the past to get to the offices where they occupy. And secondly, therefore, like I said, the fact that they are appointed by an individual who has his own personal interest in that election, it becomes problematic. Secondly, talking about judgment of integrity, you and I are all Cameroonians. We know it is so difficult to judge the integrity of people in this country that hold offices, because when we talk even about maybe corruption in the country,
you can never generalize that there are so many good people in the offices.
I say difficult. Right?
You agree? So many, and they are not from space.
And I have not generalized. I say it is difficult to judge. I have not said all. I say it is difficult to judge, because we as Cameroonians, if I take maybe the area on corruption, we know of people who have been in offices who at the end of the day we find them being wanting for several reasons of corrupt practices. But if we all depend on maybe what we are told on media,
being wanted by that same person who appointed them, we mean that he has disappointed the person and disappointed the people.
Again,
it's an individual responsibility.
You say that some people appointed are wanted.
By the same wanting, yes.
By the same person who appointed, we mean that you have disappointed me, you have disappointed my people.
That is it.
It means that the problem is the person, not the person who appointed.
No, Mr. Killian, let's not mix up things. If I appoint you into an office
strong
and you disappoint me and you disappoint the people, the question at the end of the day is, I who appointed you, what do I do to make sure that I restore order? If you disappoint me and you disappoint the people and I still maintain you in office, I change from one office to the next office, then there is a problem.
We have so many people in prison. Please don't take us out of our topic.
No, it's not a matter of.
We have so many big people in prison, and then some others are undergoing more big and small.
Who are the what are the numbers of the so many big people we have in prison, as opposed to we have situations in this country, for instance, where Cameroonians have been expecting, for instance, that maybe people could be questioned, but like you say, let's not go out of topic. Let's stay back on the topic that we are today. Yes. You see, we are talking here about the silence of stakeholders. Let's not forget that even when we talk about the electorate, who play a very key part when it comes to elections, there is even this issue of civic education. Like you were asking about the PAP, for instance. I want to assure you that every blessed day, like I said, if you don't know about the PAP, I don't know, we are on the field sensitizing people every single day to go and register and be able to vote. Those are the things we do, and that's why I started by saying if some people are silent, we are not silent. You see, but before I land,
you have come here. We talk about other parties. I cannot refuse that you talk about your party.
Before I land, one thing I just want to say with respect to what my brother here, Ofonfuka, said. You know, it is appalling to hear someone say that they have been there for a couple of years. They are enclaved. People need to live and go around the whole region before getting to Bamenda and back to
we talked about that. We talked about that already.
He thinks that the CPDM is about to start doing certain things. But I will shock you when I tell you that we cannot change this continent. I will shock you.
We cannot change this continent a single day.
Of course, for 21 years we cannot change the country.
Do you have there?
No, please. I want to think that a nation has a lifespan.
We have a report. We have a joint report there to listen to and see some of the parties, the way they go around doing things. Now let us watch this. Come back. I will give you the opportunity again to talk.
Thank you.
The authority of the CPDM party in the Adamawa region was heavily shaken during the last municipal and legislative elections, as the party lost some key areas to the opposition. With upcoming municipal, legislative and presidential elections in 2025, the party wants to avoid mistakes of the past. The Secretary General of the Central Committee of the CPDM and his delegation are thus in Gaoundéré to train supporters on how to make complete victory a reality.
I exhort you all to be conscious of the challenges ahead. You must be disciplined and united, collaborate and form a strong bloc against any force that will try to stop us from achieving our goal of absolute victory in 2025 with our national chairman, President Paul Biya.
During a capacity building workshop held in the presence of Adamawa Governor, CPDM supporters were reminded of three main challenges to tackle in 2025: enforcement of peace and the respect of republican institutions, restoration of its leadership in the region, and ensuring a resounding victory in all elections. members of the political bureau, militants who are members of government, members of permanent delegations, regional councillors, MPs, senators, section presidents and council executive were all called to ensure the massive registration of CPDM militants on electoral lists and stay united. Tributes during the gathering were paid to fallen heroes of the party in the region, like El Arch Muhammadu Abu Usmanu, who died last October 13.
Le Congrès Hall de Bamenda, la salle a fait le plein d'œufs. Militants et militantes, chacun a abandonné ses occupations quotidiennes pour venir exprimer au secrétaire général du comité central du RDPC leur désir de revoir Paul Biya à nouveau.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to take a report from Ngandere, which is Adamawa, take one from the northwest, southwest, and littoral, and the center to give a kind of representation of what the CPDM Central Committee, headed by the Secretary General of that Central Committee, went around doing the whole nation, and you were part of that delegation. What that message, we have heard that message already.
Yes.
In what we have not listened to also is that you are putting more emphasis in presidential election instead of the election that come before.
No, the Secretary General's 10-region tour was to prepare the militants in all the 10 regions for the forthcoming elections. He didn't specify. We all know that the forthcoming elections are in 2025 are the twin elections, municipal and legislative, and the presidential. So there was no, he didn't specify which one. And the message was that the militants should be ready, they should be vigilant, they should be prepared, they should make sure they're disciplined, they should make sure that they go register in the voter registers, and they should make sure that they know which candidates they are going to choose. So in a way, it was a way of, from a managerial standpoint, going to meet with the base and listen to them, talk with them, give them his own advice, but at the same time, beef up their energies and prepare them to be ready to go when the time comes. So there was nothing magical about it. It is just what all political parties should do.
Yes, what they should do, Prof, please. Is that what the SDF is doing?
Yeah, that's what the SDF is doing, but I'm surprised that you have only presented reports of CPDM holding meetings.
No, you saw that is the machine.
I've not seen the SDF
it is the machine that...
I've not seen the Congress in Douala, I've not seen the one in Bamenda, I've not seen the one in Bafoussam, I've not seen any of them. I'm sure that as you are showing the CPDM how they are mobilizing, you are equally going to take this state-owned corporation to show all the potholes in Yaoundé and all over the national territory what the CPDM has been doing all this while.
You have seen that you have seen those ones on CRTV. It's not on other media now.
Yeah, well, I've seen. No, I've not seen on CRTV.
No, you mean that you don't watch the CRTV? Yes, Elvis, please. No, he went out of the path there. Truly, I announced to you that it was a joint report of other political parties. Yes. Unfortunately, we had that mix up.
Unfortunately, the should show just the CPDM.
Yeah, unfortunately, they show only the
CPDM. Your last words, because we have less than 3 minutes to go.
My last words, Kilian, would simply be that I think all stakeholders should, I think, go out there and mobilize. That is, educate the electorate to understand first the need for people to register, because one thing is that people have been discouraged in this country because of lack of transparency at the level of the bodies that do manage elections in this country, because of the outcome of the electoral results that we have known of in the past in this country. So I think I can be calling on Cameroonians to go out there massively, get registered, and so when the time comes, they should not just vote but also vote and vote responsibly too, because we know that one thing in this country is that sometimes people actually do vote. I mean, the few that do vote anyway, but they do not vote responsibly. And Elecam should also, so far, no, not that they should vote. Elecam should make sure that
if you look at your time, you know that we have less than 2 minutes.
Elecam should ensure that
your last
they actually let people know exactly where and when they can meet them to be able to vote, because sometimes voting
it's okay. You will not stop talking and then you will end without giving the chance to other people. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Kilian, my last word is just to my people back at home. I know that they have been mobilizing, I know that they are ready, but I want to call on them this time to redouble their effort, because you cannot minimize the efforts of an enemy, of an opponent. So we have to keep on. We know that in the whole of Northwest, even Boyo, the CPDM is the seat of, Boom is the seat of CPDM in Northwest. And even without route,
I promise you that you're going to have some challenges coming up in Boom this
we
time.
are prepared for those challenges. We are prepared for them. We are prepared for them. We are not afraid of when we face many opponents. Many
you feel stronger. Yes.
We feel stronger.
Okay, thank you very much. I cannot end without giving you room. Just what is the SDF planning to do?
Of course, after the very successful national convention, the very first of its kind, without the emblematic John Frundi, we have a new chairman in place, and the SDF is planning, of course, to go out very strongly to present the new chairman to the Cameroonian people and to mobilize Cameroonians to register and vote and learn to vote even in times of war.
Thank you very much, Prof. The last word comes to you.
Yes, after the 10-region tour of the Secretary General, I think that the militants of the CPDM in all the 10 regions are ready to take up the challenge, and they are not complex. In fact, we are a party that believes in peace. We're a party that respects the rules and the laws, and we're a party that is rallying enough that we have no enemies. We know no enemies. We believe that everyone who is competing with us, they are rivals. They are fellow Cameroonians.
Thank you.
And we are happy that we compete when the head of state will convene the electorate.
Thank you very much, Professor Elvis Ngolengole, member of the Central Committee of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. Thank you very much. Thank you, Calvin Ndango, Esquire, National Legal Advisor of the SDF. Thank you again, Njine Elvis Bane, who is the National Communication Secretary of the Popular Action Party. Thank you, Mayor Ngwe Philip Chair, Mayor of Mfuka. Ladies and gentlemen, we also thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. If you missed out on anything, you have a rebroadcast of this program on Monday at 2:30. Have a great day.
Plus on est de fous, plus on rit. Rejoins la communauté Melbet. Quand les pros te donnent le feu vert, la réalité prend de l'ampleur. Plonge dans l'univers passionnant des paris sportifs. Vis des émotions fortes en suivant tous tes sports favoris. Réalise tes rêves dès aujourd'hui. Invite tes amis et amuse-toi encore plus. Jouons ensemble avec Melbet.
Nous utilisons la meilleure des huiles, riche, saine et légère, pour que nos plats trouvent toute leur saveur.
C'est ma nouvelle alliée en cuisine. Elle fait le bonheur de ma famille.
C'est une huile raffinée au Cameroun, et elle fait notre fierté.
Oléo, créateur de saveurs.